Listen up. That's the sound of the Pacific. Cold, brutal, relentless. It's the first thing that hits you when you get there, and the last thing you hear if you try to make a run for it. This is Alcatraz, the Rock, a 22-acre steel and concrete fortress built for one single reason: to lock away the guys the country wanted to forget. The big hitters, the problem solvers, the unbreakables. The feds didn't just call it escape-proof. They built it that way, engineered it. And yet, come roll call on the morning of June 12, 1962. 3 men were nowhere to be found. They just vanished, leaving behind nothing but plaster, soap, and hair. A total slap in the face to the guards, the system, and the whole idea of inescapable. This wasn't just a jailbreak. This was a magic trick. How in the world did 3 cons drill through thick concrete, scramble onto the roof, and sail off into the dark, right under the noses of 24/7 security and surrounded by the meanest waters on the planet? Settle in. From your armchair, we're heading inside the walls to crack the case on the greatest prison escape in American history. To understand how they got out, you gotta first understand the joint they were in. Picture this. You just stepped off the ferry. The salt spray hits you hard. The wind cuts right through you. You're boxed in by 1.5 miles of 50-degree freezing water. The currents out there are so nasty, they could drag a grown man straight down. Inside, it was non-stop noise, steel grating on steel, shouting. And the rules, ironclad. 1 guard for every 3 inmates. Head counts? 12 times a day. Alcatraz wasn't just a prison, it was psychological warfare. Its number 1 tool was beating the hope right out of you. But inside this cage lived Frank Morris. IQ 133, a serious criminal, and a genuine escape artist. He hooked up with the Anglin brothers, John and Clarence. Tough guys, street smart, and a 4th guy, Alan West. Together, they weren't just going to challenge the impossible, they were going to take it apart, step by brutal step. The whole thing didn't start with a bang. It started with a whispered secret. Alan West was the first to spot it. A serious weak spot in the prison's design. The ventilation duct, the concrete surrounding it was old, loosened by the constant damp, salty air. Behind it, a utility corridor, totally unsecured. It was small, it was soft, and it was their golden ticket out. They worked for 2 long years. Their tools, spoons swiped from the chow hall, hammered into chisels, a makeshift drill, rigged up from a busted vacuum cleaner motor, done. Every single day, the same grinding routine. While one guy chipped, another kept lookout. The scraping, the drilling, all of it drowned out by the daily music hour. The sound of an accordion, covering up the sound of their freedom. They even set up a secret workshop on the block's roof. They stitched up over 50 stolen raincoats into a huge 14-foot inflatable raft and some life vests. This wasn't a desperate rush. It was a cold-blooded masterpiece of smarts and patience. June 11, 1962, 9:30 p.m. final check. The guard's flashlight hits Morris's bunk, sees a head on the pillow. He moves on. The decoys were set. Perfect. Morris and the Anglin squeezed into the dark. They climbed the utility pipes, 3 flights straight up, and busted out onto the roof. But one man didn't make it. Alan West. The guy who figured it all out, his vent was jammed up. The concrete patch he'd put back had cured solid. He pushed, he yanked, no luck. His partners, they couldn't stand around, the tide was turning fast. It was now or game over. Morris and the Anglins blew up the raft and pushed off the rock into that deadly 50-degree water, aiming for Angel Island, a couple of miles north. Then, silence. "7:15 a.m. Total chaos. The rock went into full lockdown. The FBI, the Coast Guard, the U.S. Marshals, they brought in everybody. Alan West, stuck in his cell, spilled the beans instantly. He laid out the whole brilliant scheme, a trail the FBI was now scrambling to follow. They found a few things: a paddle, bits of the raincoat raft, a wallet with IDs and family photos, all wrapped up tight in plastic. But 0 bodies. Not a single one. The official word? The inmates messed up the math? The ocean was too much. The water too cold. They drowned, dragged under by the vicious tide. Case closed. Done deal. This photo surfaces years later. Experts can't agree. Is that really the Anglin brothers in Brazil? Family members swore they got cryptic postcards from South America, signed with the brothers' old nicknames. A witness claimed on his deathbed that he met them on the mainland and drove them to freedom. The FBI officially shut down the investigation in '79, but the U.S. Marshals, their file is still wide open. Alcatraz itself closed barely a year after the breakout. The prison they called inescapable got completely beaten. Its reputation? Shot. Did 3 men pull off the impossible, only to get taken by the Pacific? Or did they nail the perfect disappearing act and simply walk away? The rock keeps its secrets, and the freezing Pacific water ain't talking. History is loaded with stories like this, just waiting to be dug up if you want to unlock more of these mysteries without leaving your seat. Subscribe to Rawn. What historical mystery should we tackle next? Drop a line in the comments.